Hey everybody, it's Liz. Today I want to share with you a quick tutorial on how I created these pretty little coffee filter flowers that I used on my last project. I've had several requests, people wanting to know how I made them, and I want to share my techniques with you today. Now I know there's probably tons of other tutorials on the coffee filter flowers, but this is just the technique that I used to create this particular look, for the curly flowers. And as you can tell from the flowers, some have a little more curl than others, and I'm going to share with you how I created that. And there's different sizes and all that. Okay, so I'm going to get this out of the way, and first I'm going to show you everything that you need to create the flowers. Okay, so first of all, you're going to need your coffee filters. Okay, and I picked these up at the Dollar Tree, and you get tons and tons of them. And what I like to do is, for these, basically what I do is I cut out a little piece of some. No, I cut out the middle, right? So you can get the circle here, like that. And you can, for the smaller flowers, you can cut out a lot from this circle. And then what I like to do is I like to leave this part behind here like that. And then I'll share with you what I do with this. So you're going to need coffee filters, okay? You're going to need Stamens. And I'm almost out of mine, but these are the Stamens that I picked up. I think these are from the wedding section, either at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. Any one of those stores will carry them. This particular one has 72 pieces, and as you can tell, I don't have a lot left. So I'll just be sharing how to make, one of the flowers. But it's the same technique for all the different sizes. Okay, so you're going to need the Stamens, and you're going to need your watercolors. This is the set that I used. I think it's from Michael's. You're going to need, of course, a brush, okay, a mini mister, or a little container of water, okay? You just need like a little bowl, a little cup, anything like that, all right? And you're also going to need, of course, your dyes. I used, let me see, this is the Magnolia Doohickey dyes from the newest volume. I think it's volume 6. Or no, volume 5. You can definitely use these. Basically all you need is 2 sizes. As long as you have a larger size and a smaller size, that's really all you need. And again, you can create bigger sizes depending on the dyes that you have, but definitely you can use these. The ones that I used are actually by Spellbinders, and it's one of my favorite dyes. I use it quite a bit. It's called the Rose Creations by Spellbinders. So these are the dyes, and the reason I like this set is because you get a lot of them. I think there's like 6 different ones. So this is how I can create all my different size flowers, okay? So, but you just need 1 big one and 1 medium, or the next size down, I should say, to create the flowers, okay? You can also use this one here, the Carnation Creations. This is a good one too. In fact, this is the one that I use to make the little mini ones. I use this one here, the little tiny ones, and all you need is just that size for the little itty bitty ones, okay? So any of these dyes, as long as you have 2 sizes, will work, okay? Alright, and then, let me see, you're going to need glue. I use Aleene's Tacky Glue. This is one of my favorite, but you can also use hot glue. With this method, you have to wait a little bit for the glue to dry, but that's okay. I like using this because I make a lot of the flowers at a time, and I don't mind waiting for them to dry. Okay, so you're going to need some glue. You're going to need a piece of foam. This is what I used. It's just a black piece of foam. I think it's by Creatology. Picked it up at Michael's. Just a piece of foam. Okay, you're also going to need a stylus. Okay. And you can either have a pick and then one of these. I use this to hold the flowers, the die cuts in place when I'm using my heat tool so that I don't burn my fingers, okay? But, you can use a skewer, your stylus, whatever you want, okay? Just be careful. And let me see, what else? Scissors, of course, and, definitely a heat tool. You will need a heat tool. All right, so now let's get started. So I've already done some of the steps so that this tutorial isn't super long. Okay, so what we're going to do first is you want to die cut your flowers. So I've already done that, and like I said, I showed you how I cut it. What I do, you need to die cut 5 or 6 of each size. So in here are 6 die cuts, or I think 5, I can't remember. of the larger and then 5 of the smaller. Okay, so that's what you want to do. And my tip for you on how to cut it, like I said, I cut the coffee filter to the center, and then I use this and just run it through my machine. There's 5 or 6 of them in here. Or what you can also do is take this side here, and then what I do is I fold it down like this. So basically that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then of course when you run it through your machine, it's going to get flattened out. And then on this side here, you have 5 layers. So you just put your die, your die through there, you run it through your machine, and you automatically get 5 different die cuts. Okay, that's what I do. You can do it any way you want, but I'm just giving you a little quick tip. Okay, so once you have that, your dies cut out. Now, if you don't have a die that has a little hole, this is where the pick comes in handy. One of these guys, okay? Because you're going to need to make a little hole in the center to put the stamens through. This one already has it, so I don't have to worry about that. Okay? And then what you want to do is, I like to mist mine first with water, but again, you can use the water that's in your little bowl. Okay? But here's where you just you want to mist them with water. Or add, water from your water bowl. Either way. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and start to color. And because you have the watercolor palette, you can use any color you want. I like the vibrant colors. I think they just look really pretty. So I'm going to do like this hot pink right here. Alright, just want to get that on there. And then because it's already wet, I always like to start in the middle. Okay, and you just sort of dab it. And because it's already wet, see how the color spreads out? Okay, and I know right now it looks really bright, but it's going to get toned down, I promise. Alright, and then what I also like to do is I like to dab just a little bit on the edges of each of the petals. This adds like a really pretty touch. Okay, just on the edges, but see how it's already spreading? Because it's already wet. The coffee filter paper is so thin, and it's great to work with it. Okay, so now what I did there, here's the flower. This is what, oops, getting stuck all the layers here. But that's what it looks like so far, really, really bright. Okay, so what you want to do now is just add water. And it'll help the color bleed throughout the entire flower. So it's not going to have, that dark contrast. It's going to look really pretty, actually. So you can add as much water as you want. You can add more of the watercolor if you want, whatever you like. And there's no, you don't have to worry about being perfect. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna, when you curl these up, they're gonna look fine. Trust me, they're gonna look beautiful. Okay, so that's my first one. And then I'm just gonna put it to the side. Now this one should still be wet. If not, I can add more water. I'll just go ahead and dab a little bit of water on there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and start with the center again. See how it just bleeds through? I mean, look how pretty. The color just spreads nicely. Okay, and I'm sorry, this is a really awkward angle, so I'm doing my best here, but hopefully you guys get the gist of how to make these. They're actually really easy. I make tons of them at a time. They're so fun. And then just add more water, let the color kind of bleed through. Okay, so once you have that, you can go ahead and put the watercolors away. And this is where you want to use your little tweezers or a little skewer, anything to hold the little coffee filters in place, because once they dry, they tend to just go flying all over the place. And one tip here, the coffee filter paper burns, so be very, very careful when you use your heat tool. Okay, sometimes I do, since I make a lot, like I said, I let them just dry on their own, but I speed it up with my heat tool just a little bit. Just be careful, okay? Don't get too close. So what I'm going to do is just kind of hold it in place, and I'm going to use my heat tool. Alright, so go ahead and heat that up or dry that up as best as possible, and you're going to see that the watercolor is going to start to lighten up. It's going to look really pretty. And then what I like to do is when I see that it starts to turn white, because when it's wet it's a little translucent, when it starts to turn white that means it's drying. I like to turn it to the other side as well so it can be, dried evenly. Okay. I hope I'm in the frame here. I am. All right. And then one last time. I mean, you can do this, you know, any way you want. This is just how I do it. Makes it quick. And then this way I'm not holding the heat tool on one spot and it's not going to burn. Okay, so you see how it's now white? It's not as translucent, so it's pretty much dry. I leave them just slightly damp, okay? So, but you can dry them all the way. I find it that when they're slightly damp, it's a little bit easier to get that curl. Okay, here's the larger one again. You just want to go ahead and dry it. Okay, and of course you could fast forward through this step. Just want to do it real quick here. All right, there we are. One more time. All right, should be good to go. Okay, let me zoom in just a little bit. All right, so you guys can see the next step. Okay, so once your flowers are dry, you're going to go ahead and take your piece of foam. Any, foam will do. This is the one that I like to use. There's no, right or wrong. It's just, you need just a surface that you're going to be able to use the stylus on. That's all. Okay, and what I want to do is I want to stagger my flowers. Okay. So see, this is the flower, the finished flower. See how the petals are staggered? What I want to do is I want to separate the layers. I do this step now because once I curl them up, it's really hard to separate, okay? So I'm going to do that now. All right, and then what you're going to do is just take your stylus, and you're just basically going to get a little closer so you can see. You're just going to pounce on it. Well, not pounce on it, but I start off at the edges, okay? And then you're just going to do this here. See, just press down onto the foam. And see how it starts to curl up? Okay, and you want to do that on the entire petal. Now this one is a little bit damp. The drier it is, the more curl you'll get, I noticed. So, but for the sake of the video, I just wanted to share with you what I'm doing. Okay, so do you see how it's curling up? Okay, you want to do that with each of the petals. Curl, curl, curl. How am I doing on time? Okay, I'm good. Alright, and don't worry if the layers sort of get, I guess, uneven or whatever. The more staggering you have, the better, and fuller the flower will be. So don't worry about that. Okay, once you've done each petal, I like to go in the middle and then just press in the center. And it starts to create that little flower look. Okay, so see how it's getting curled up? Alright, so that's one. I'm going to do it to the next one here. Again, just sort of, push it into the foam. And like I said, the curlier you want them, the more that you're going to, use the stylus, especially at the ends and the little edges here. And then go in the middle. And like I said, this one is a little damp, so it's not curling as well. But this particular one, I don't need it to be too curly, so that's okay. And then make sure you get in the middle. Okay, you see that? So that you want to start it to look like a little flower, take that little flower shape. Okay, then you put those to the side, and again you want to do that to the next one, the next size. And like I said, I like to separate my layers. It makes it easier for me to put them together once I have to use the stamens. Okay, so just do that along the edges. And the only thing, I didn't do that on that, but try to keep, you know, the hole centered. Oops, sorry. So you're able to go through, you know. So I got to do that on these. Okay. Move them in frame. Yep. Alright. So just go ahead and curl. And you can use your tweezers, of course, to hold it in the middle. I use my finger, and then, you know, you just let go and press in the middle to get that, you know, that look. And again, this one's a little more damp than I'd like. If you find that it's too damp and it's not curling as well, go ahead and use your heat tool to dry it a little bit more. I'm just fixing this one here to make sure that it's centered in the middle. Okay. Now this one, because it's a little too damp, I'm going to go ahead and use my heat tool just a little bit. Again, be very careful because they burn. Okay, that should do it. Alright, so now it's dry a little bit better. So go ahead and just curl it up. There, see? Now it's curling much better. Okay, there we go. Alright, so now this one, you want to go ahead and make sure you do the center so you can get that flower shape. Okay, so now what you do is just grab your stamens. The bigger the flower, the more stamens you'll need. I usually need, you know, 5 or 6. Okay. And what I like to do is, see how they're long like this? Just bend them in half. Okay, so you get 2, 4, and then if you have a single one, or you can use 6 if you like. I think with this one I'll need 5. So I'm going to cut one in half. Okay. Here it is. So then you're going to have your little bunch of stamen, like so. And you're going to start off with the smaller flower, of course. You want to make sure that the hole is centered and go ahead and push the stamen through the little hole. Okay, and then just push it down like that. And again, you want to just go through the hole. I always make sure to stagger the leaves or the petals. See how they're getting staggered up? There you go. And like I said, this one's not as curly as I normally would do it for the sake of the video. I'm trying to, you know, speed it up a little bit, okay? Alright. So then you're going to get the larger flowers and do the same thing. Center them and go ahead and push the stamen through the little hole in the flower. Sometimes you got to make sure that all of them line up. And again, see, stagger the little petals. Look how pretty that's looking, right? And the last layer. Am I in frame? Alright, just got to get all the little stamen through that little hole. And stagger your petals. And see how pretty that's looking? Okay. Once you're done with that, this is where you can either take your heat gun, okay, not your heat gun, I'm sorry, your hot glue gun, and just dab some hot glue right in here. I like to use the white glue, the one that I showed you, the Aleene's. Okay, that's what I like to do. But if you want to speed it up, like I said, use your hot glue. Okay, and then so what you want to do is you want to add some glue just right here. And I go all the way around. Okay. Be a little generous with the glue. And if you have like a little skewer or something, you can use that to spread the glue around. I'm just going to use the tip of this little stamen. Just spread it around. Okay? And then push it down. There you go. And then what I do is I just lay them, or sit them up like this and let them dry on their own. Of course, if you have your hot glue, it's instant. Then you just cut off the stamen, the little ends here, and your flower is ready to go. And that's what it's going to look like. So really, really pretty. And I love how these can be made in any color, because the watercolor palette has tons of colors. And see how soft the color got? It was really bright pink, but now it's really soft. And see the edges where it looks like a little bit darker? The variations of color, it's just so, so pretty. I love these flowers. They're so fun to make, and they're perfect because you can make them in any color to match your projects. So I hope my tutorial was helpful. I do apologize if it was a little bit long, but I just wanted to share each of the steps that I do to create my flowers. And so this one I'm just going to lay like this and wait for it to dry, and then I'll be able to use it in a project. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave me a comment, and I hope you try this. They're a lot of fun, and the result is so, so pretty. You'll love them. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all real soon. Bye-bye.